Welcome to the Market Mindset. We are the hub for news, results, and CEO interviews focusing the junior commodities sector. We provide market analysis and perspective that will help position you for solid returns. If that sounds like something you're interested in, you can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the notification bell. For more info, you can visit our website. All links are in the description below. Now let's get into today's video.
Good morning, everyone. It's the end of the month, end of January 2022. It's been a bit of an ugly one, but it's almost over.
We're almost out of it, and hopefully some better markets and less choppy waters ahead in February. We can keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, and I mean, we go over it quite a bit, but there's lots of troubling news out there. But at the same time, there's tons of capital to be deployed. If we could just get people on track to wanting to get back to work and get things back going, like most of the world has decided to do, that would be perfect. That would be wonderful. But we have some lingering states and certainly Canada. Not all of Canada, lots of Canada is opening up again. But it's time to start back to work and get things going. And I want to lead off today, and this isn't going to be a big conversation about cloud computing, but it is one of those things that certainly ARK Investments, Kathy Wood is a huge fan of, and rightfully so. But we saw a hedge fund, Elliott and Vista, big news today, buying Citrix Systems in a deal that's worth about $13 billion. And they're going to take it private, which is also interesting. That's a whole other conversation unto itself, but it's a cash bid. Big news today. That's great. And I want to bring it up because this is one of those areas that directly affects us. We talk about it, and let me just walk through it a bit. Is just simply put, I mean, cloud computing is any delivery of computer services, so storage, databases, networking, software analytics, anything over the internet or the cloud that offers faster innovation, flexible resources, and economies of scale. So lots of benefits to it. And you think of these giant kind of farms of stacked processors, kind of like what they do for Bitcoin mining. And we'll get into it. I think one Friday we'll talk about cloud computing and the importance of it. And it really adds speed and a lot of flexibility, especially if you're a bigger company, because the scalability of this is massive. You can just pick and choose services and the cost really comes down rather than you trying to have a server of your own and try to have a team manage it. There's just a server farm. You can outsource it. Performance is better and higher. And the technology is obviously extremely reliable and growing at an incredible pace. And the only kind of tie-in I wanted to make is that we said it before is these require a lot of helium. These storage units, these massive server farms. So I just like to always kind of put things into perspective as to why we're talking about something further down the supply or supply chain. Most people focus in on the cloud computing and they think, oh, what's going to be the next big deal there? Who's more efficient? Who's more productive? To me, I find it more interesting to go, well, who's servicing them to give them either the components, like the chips, like we talked about on Friday, or all of these kind of gases or minerals or elements that make these things. To me, if you kind of scratch below the surface a bit to where people aren't paying attention and looking, there's often very good opportunity.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, it's important to stress that. And I mean, we did, like we talked about on Friday, the amount of helium that's needed in these chips in any sort of computing to keep these massive processors, massive units for these computing devices cool and able to function at a high rate is it's insane when you try to wrap your head around how much actually goes into that and how much is needed. So there's in any sort of big type of infrastructure situation, you can find, if you break it down into the smaller parts. I mean, we talk about copper a lot being hugely important to a lot of the kind of electric vehicle, electric future sort of narrative, but helium's another big one in the computing side of things. And it just shows you, if you break these down, you start looking at them a little bit more in depth, you can find crazy opportunities across the board.
100%. So yeah, I wanted to lead with that because it was a big story today, and we got to pick and choose our battles right now because the market, it's going to be volatile for the rest of the year. But a lot of trying to get through some of the pain that's going to come is to have a longer time horizon. And unfortunately, we kind of got used to having information immediately, and then people thinking that they need that information like hourly. And that can be almost addictive. Like you start looking at your stocks and you go, whoa, whoa, whoa. I do it myself. So I'm not, I'm talking out of school if I pretend like it's easy. Is I have to remind myself, why did I take this position? I'm not trading, so I don't care about what happens hour to hour. I say that very loosely because if there's an opportunity to pick up more at a cheap price, I'm going to. But generally speaking, I'm looking at it because it's a business. It has, the management. It is a key in the future. It's got a demand curve, and there's a lack of supply there. Basic fundamental stuff. Because at the end of the day, every time you hear about, oh no, there's a new metric for valuing things, or no, the new financial modeling is different. No, it's not. It's always the same. There's always fundamentals, and we can get into bubbles where you can start buying things for growth that should happen in 2086, but that I would rather not be involved in. I like my speculation, but I don't like being that out there.
Well, actually, you don't want to be built ready for the 2080s. You got to be setting yourself up now, man. What do you? No, you're absolutely right. The fundamentals are always going to stay the same in these kind of situations, but it's important to look at and diversify everything that you're looking at. Don't get too focused in on just one industry or one sector, because there's unique opportunities across the board if you just know where to look and how to kind of track them down and break down the situation.
Yes, and also bear in mind, and I say this a lot, we deal with a very specific part of the market. I certainly, back from my days when I was at Merrill, you're looking at an entire portfolio, and it's a very different ball game. It's certainly much more complex. We're looking at that speculative. I would say it's the more fun side, because you're taking on a heck of a lot more risk, but your gains are huge, or potentially huge, and that's where I find the interest is trying to find asymmetric risks, which people kind of refer to, is that if you put in 500, the upside is much higher than losing the 500. And people see that when you talk about odds in gaming, you get odds for different things. And that's actually a good segue into the gaming sector, because we've been doing a lot of work. You've put together quite a bit, and there's some news in that sector right now.
Yeah, it is. It's so, I'm kind of nice that you said gaming, and we were talking about diversifying and looking at different sectors and stuff. But this is important for people to kind of understand, is that in 2021, over $85 billion has gone into private deals in the gaming industry. That's over just about, I think, 1,200 separate different deals that have been done, but $85 billion flowing into the sector in some companies that are getting, massive amounts of money put into them, but even some that are just, a couple $1 million here or there that can really boost them up and get them trending in the right direction. We talk a lot about how, the amount of money that can go into the mining sector can massively increase, and we can get massive growth on that side. Gaming is very much the same. Just, like a bit of money that can turn into that sector can really start to churn the growth over and take it in an encouraging direction. So seeing 85 billion go into the gaming sector this past year is massive. Really, really awesome.
It's good because, and I suspect if we looked at it a little bit deeper, and I know you've done a lot, and there's going to be a whole package that you've put together coming out soon for our subscribers, is that a lot of that probably is an M&A, because it had a great run up a couple of years ago, and people were really, they could see, and they're putting it together, and then it kind of fell apart, partly because a big component to this is the actual events. Like, they're massive. Like, when people don't know, like, people say older than me, they don't realize that going to a gaming event is basically like, it's like a rock concert plus the Super Bowl plus something else all matched together. Like, it's huge. It's an event.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people don't realize is, for especially some of these esports companies, you're talking about 40% of their revenue that is just on these live events themselves. Now, that's not including the amount of people that are going to stream this event and watch it on Twitch or anything like that. I mean, just the in-person physical event can anywhere from about 20 to 40%, depending on the company and depending on the event.
It's huge. So I certainly have a lot of interest in this for the year ahead. And that's why we kind of started looking at it. But I don't want to give away too much, but you've done quite a bit of work. We've talked to some companies already here. We've talked to an interesting IPO company coming out of South America, Latin America. So you know what? This is going to be an area, without a doubt, that is going to have big growth. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of work. If you go talk to your kids, or you just go grab a random teenager and ask them if they game. Like it dwarfs music, and it dwarfs movies. It is the platform and will remain the platform in all its kind of variations as well, whether it's just playing your mobile game like Farmville, I'm going to date myself, or Zynga, like the company that makes all those types of games, or it's actually sitting in front of your game playing, or your PlayStation, or whatever. It's huge. It's massive. And in that, there's a huge opportunity for learning as well. And if we do this properly, you can really help educate people and get messages across in a positive way by using this as well.
Yeah, you definitely can. There's so much potential in the industry. I mean, it's an industry that's projected to grow over the next 5 years from about $180 billion industry to $260 billion industry. And that growth is only going to continue as you get a younger generation that is more tapped into electronic devices. Rightly or wrongly, that's a different conversation to have. Yeah. But as you've got, kids that are 10, 12, 13 years old right now that are moving up and becoming older, you're going to see that trend just continue to grow massively. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see the gaming industry well up over $350 billion by the time we reach 2030. It's going to be massive, and it's going to just keep growing. And especially as like you said, you don't just need to be on a PlayStation or a computer. You can be on your phone and just tap it away playing games on your phone. That's one of the most highly profitable sectors within gaming over the last few years, has been just in mobile gaming alone. So it's something that people want to be tapped into. And I'm glad you brought up the kind of work we've been doing on the back end of it. We've got a great couple series of videos that are going to be coming out. We've got a report on gaming. It's going to be available to our subscribers. All you're going to have to do is just sign up to the website. You're going to get access to all the videos before they come out on YouTube. You're going to get access to the whole report as well. It'll kind of hopefully educate people and steer them and say, hey, there's some unique opportunities in this sector. If you want to keep your eyes on it, keep a focus on it, and we'll try to separate out what the best opportunities within that are going to be as well.
Excellent. And when do you think that's going to come out? Because we've really made a conscious effort now, because we give a lot of information away for free. We really want to help educate and get people excited about different sectors and markets. But we're trying to put a lot more into our subscriber section, so that people, if we give everything away on YouTube, people go, why do I have to go to your website? So we're trying to focus people to come to our website for a couple of different reasons. One, to be able to see a bit more in-depth analysis and see some of these reports, like the hard work that you've put into it, so they can kind of learn the basics, the foundation for that. And then as well, to be able to see, well, what are you guys buying? Like, what did you buy this month? What do you own? What are you actually buying? Because I can't ever say, buy this, buy that, don't buy this, when to buy or sell. I can say when I am, for my risk tolerance, this is what I'm doing. And also we want to offer to people that are accredited investors, and we'll have a video on what that means, what's an accredited investor, how to get involved in private placements, IPOs, all those types of things that aren't available, or that people don't even know that they're out there, and that sometimes you have to literally be invited to be into. So that's another thing that we've been developing, and we've had great success in the last year. And it's to encourage people. That's why you want to kind of be part of the team and engage with us.
Yeah, because there are companies that we've already talked about and been involved with, and there's more that are going to be coming out over the year ahead that we've been able to participate in the IPOs and the private placements with, that if people can get in at that level, the growth opportunity, what you can actually achieve by putting some money into the very early parts of these deals, is astronomical. And it's fantastic to really be involved in the core building of some of these projects, and the fundraising, and getting to see kind of the project go right from this very tiny little beginning of an idea in someone's head to build it all the way up and to take it public and see how it can grow from there. It's really exciting, and it's an awesome opportunity to continue to build your portfolio and really strengthen your position overall.
Yeah, and once again, we're talking about this. It's potential. We've had some great fortune with it of late, but it's just we want to present to people potential opportunities out there. And once again, we're in that speculative high risk area. So more on that if you come chat with us. But happy Monday, end of the month. Let's see what February holds. I know people are certainly just want January over and done with.
Yeah, it's we'll see what the month ahead's going to have. It's hopefully going to smoothen out a little bit, but like we always say, there are going to be a number of opportunities regardless of the chaos that's going on in the market. You just kind of have to know where to look for them.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks, Austin. Enjoy the rest of the day and have a great week, everyone.
Yeah, take care, Andrew. Cheers, guys. We'll chat to you all later.